Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So, in the Discord, we also set up a thing called Zero Zone Questions. Now, Zero Zone is a project I started and abandoned a long time ago, so now we're back. And essentially all it is me going through a bunch of questions that people may have that they think other people may have as well. So, we'll go over them, and hopefully you learn something from this video. I'm going based off my current knowledge of the game. And of course, I haven't done some tests recently. For example, further down, we'll see a question about WOTAC, and you will see that I thought something and then it changed, and so, but yeah, that's, you'll see what I mean. So, first of all, if you wanted to post a question, you could do so either in the comment section of this video, and I'll look at it for the next video, or you can put it in the channel here. You'll get an actual reply here, and then I'll go more in detail over on the channel, like the video you're watching right now. And if I have enough time, I'll go ahead and check the Reddit, which I haven't done since I started my channel. So, mostly because you can't really post anything because then they say the quality is not good enough or something like that, and it's just bad, man. All you're trying to do is help out the community a bit, but. Anyways, opinions to myself. So the format was basically, you ask a question, and like how do you best jungle with Claude, how do you use Hylos, etc, etc. So, let's see here. Question, will Luo Yi be viable for solo queue and not just for competitive play? That's the first question. I answered, Luo Yi will be viable for solo, but only after the community gets used to her kit. She is a free hero, so it should speed things up, but allies will have to know when to team up around her like they do with Johnson at the moment. So what I meant by that in a TLDR format is that for the first couple of months, she'll be kind of like Sylvana. No one knows how to play her, she'll be kind of dead. And then when people get used to her and how she works, she's gonna rise up in popularity pretty fast. And she is a really good hero, even in solo queue, especially, like I said, once people begin to learn how to play with her, including your randoms. So, then Af asks, does Glowing Wand help export? No. No. Okay, I know you guys like to troll, and I'm the original creator of that, AP Claude, and no. So, anyways, the thing about Xborg is that he was meant to equip a nasty item that no one likes because they all want to deal toxic amounts of damage, they want to slow down, they want to do magic, they want everything that is possible / able to be done on Xborg. So, unfortunately, that's not practical. His ideal build is right here. And this is the item I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see the cursor, and if you can, I'm looking at the Sky Guardian helmet. So a lot of Xborg skills basically rely on him doing a lot of poke damage and having a lot of base HP. He's more of a regen / chip type damage, so like Thamus. He's more like Thamus, just ranged, essentially. And that's all there is to him. Of course, people run more damage variants like the Rose Gold and the Oracle and the Blade of Despair and all that. And again, just my point, don't try to overextend certain heroes' things. If you're lacking that slowdown, grab a mage on your team and let them slow down for you. Chances are they'll be way better at it. Opti asks, why are you gay? The question is, why are you gay? Okay? Opti gay. And the next question is from Senpai. Is Alpha viable nowadays? Now if you look under it, that says NOD. NOD came to kill all the fighters. Because of NOD now affecting Spellvamp, both physical and magical, and because it applies in a certain way, it really rendered anyone with any kind of sustain that's a fighter that isn't, like, that doesn't have a shield in their kit, it renders them pretty much useless as soon as the enemy builds it. So, very hard for fighters right now in this meta. Very, very hard. Next question from Sayano. He asks, "Bedang Freya, please." That's not a question, but if you're asking about the synergy between Bedang and Freya, there is heavy synergy in team fights, but early game and keeping up lanes, that's going to be really tough to get through. If you can make it to mid to late game, you'll have a really good synergy, but early game, kind of cringe. Shadow asks why Xborg's build is not practical. It's not practical because it requires someone to farm. It requires you to help someone farm. So it's more of like a tank role slash supportive role for Xborg. That, and at the same time they farm, but you have to get the jungle stack for this Cursed Sword at the end, so, or Star Shard. So that's why it's not ideal. And his skills are based on max HP, and his Faraga would be massive and all that, but again, not optimal because people don't like to run strategies. So let's see. Next question again from Shadow was going Thamus and Martis top lane combo earlier with friend. Wanted to know how it's executed and performed. Okay, so this is back to season 10 for me. Sayano and I ran Martis and Thamus. I thought I had it on my YouTube. Apparently I don't. But what we used to do is basically get Martis, who had a better wave clear, to clear the wave while Thamus began to pressure the red buff. Martis would have Flicker and Thamus would have Purify, and this is actually before the red buff. They're both blue buffs, so usually the enemy mage did not have Retribution on the bottom lane, and it just worked out. If we knew somebody was taking Retribution likely and there was two mages, then either him or I would take it based on the enemies. So if he needed the Flicker, I would grab the Retribution, and if I needed the Purify, he would grab the Retribution. So yeah, the builds have changed for both of those heroes, by the way, since probably any recent builds you've seen on my channel, and I don't think that works anymore because of the current meta. If anything, you probably do the Freya plus Dairoth, which is the new variant of that. So yeah, that's about it. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, they're dead. So, and another reason why is Martis did get buffed, but it's like his attack speed, so that helps a lot in solo queue. Thamus got his scythe range boosted, and that's a huge nerf because now your scythes take longer to travel. You have to move further away from your scythes for them to come back. Means your combos take a lot longer to process. So, not good. Akai asks, on crit marksmans, what is better, Scarlet or Winter Truncheon? Scarlet or Windtalker first, or Berserkers first? So, the DPS difference between Berserkers and Windtalker is not existent. Even though Berserkers actually gives you more attack, the DPS is matched by the now more buffed Windtalker. And you also have the added benefit of being able to clear waves faster and jungle faster with Windtalker. So, it's a win-win, and you get the movement speed. So, it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win early game for Windtalker. Late game, if you don't like your crit rate, you can switch to Scarlet. But in terms of Windtalker versus Berserker, which I think is the highest contention right here, Windtalker still by far outshines in general for any kind of marksman. Because once you build a Nimble Blade or your Raptor Machete, it's all about jungling as fast as you can, and that's what's going to help, because that's just the way it's wired. So no. Alright, next up is, let's see here. How long was this been made? A year ago? Oh yeah, he was still asking about the Thamus one. I thought I did, but I didn't. But I do have a Thamus montage where I do a lot of these ganks. And then I just mentioned the Scythe range again there. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, I almost skipped Trim. No, I just mentioned that right there. Sorry, I just repeated that. Now, AM 107 AM asks which is a better item for Farsa, Ice Queen Wand or the Clock of Destiny? Thanks in advance. You're welcome, and it depends on if you're a mono user or not, as I alluded to right there. Sorry, the mono question or answer was for Exalted. Is it worth buying Endless Battle now, or is she a combo of Raptor Machete and Haas's Claws better? Endless Battle, and because of the nerfs it's been getting, has been questioned if it's still worthy of being purchased. It really is if you're looking for a sustain item, but it also depends on if you're a mono user or not. If you really just want more sustain, you can get Haas's or Bloodlust Axe first, as you should have, even before this update. But yeah, anyways, back to the Farsa question. Ice Queen 1 or Clock of Destiny? So I would say both. As for which one is more important, that depends on the enemies you're fighting. So if you can literally kind of snowball, if you have a really good advantage over your enemies, you can get the Clock of Destiny first. Or let's say it's worst case scenario, the enemies are really agile and you really need to slow them down or else you're not going to land any hits. Ice Queen 1 would come in first. But you do need both. They're both really good because they both carry mana and they both synergize with the Lightning Truncheon. And then the next one, let's move on. I guess. Hashtag Peach, where are you, man? Come back. At least stay in the Discord, man. Peach was our Farsa main. Can we play Bedang Freya? Saya, no. Okay. Question, can I use my epic skin on Sage Bedang? Okay, so this is, maybe. Alright, what else we got here? How is Oracle calculated versus NOD? So Cyano's making a YouTube video over there on his channel. I'll post a link in the description. And basically he's asking for a little bit of info here. How is Oracle calculated versus Necklace of Durance on a shield-based hero? And Necklace of Durance is calculated first. Basically just asking how the hell it works. So I ran a test of this, and you'll see the clip probably playing right now. I'll put it in a corner somewhere. And essentially what you have is you have your base spell vamp amount, and then Oracle will boost it by 30%. Great, right? But then the thing is, whenever you get hit with the anti-regen effect, then your final heal will get reduced straight in half. So it's a final heal reduction. It's not something like, okay, I have Oracle, I have a 30% boost, and then someone hit me with Necklace of Durance or the Sea Halberd. Now I only get a 20% boost, or now I only get 20% reduced instead of 50% reduced. That's not how it works, unfortunately. It only works that way against shields. So the point here is, let's say you take 500 damage, right? Or let's keep it easy. Let's just say you take 1,000, you heal 1,000 damage anyway. Spell vamp, lifesteal, regen, anything. The point is, the number you regenerate is 1,000. Oracle will boost it to 1,300, and then as soon as it gets hit, it'll get cut straight in half. And I do believe that's when my math brain fails. Let me make sure. And I did 1,300 divided by 6 for some reason because I can't type. 650, yeah. So, yeah, if you have 1,000, you put on Oracle, you'll heal for 1,300. Someone hits you with the Necklace of Durance or the Sea Halberd or the Deadly Blade, you get healing of 650. Now, by contrast, if you had a shield of 1,000, and then Oracle applied to you, and then you got hit with the Necklace of Durance, and let's just say you instantly regenerated the shield at that point, you would regenerate 800 shield instead of 1,000, and not 650. It's a little bit different on shields. It's not as bad for shield heroes, so just making a point there. Alright, now let's continue on. And I will make a bigger video on this, so don't worry if I really went fast over it right now. Just know that basically, if you're a shield hero, it's not as bad. If you're anything else, it's really bad. So I'll make a video in the future going way more in detail on this / slower about this. So let's go on. Why heroes like Uranus and Nextborg are still viable. And then so Sayano asked why Uranus and Nextborg are still viable in solo queue even with these buffs to the anti-regen items. And again, mostly because of those shields. So anyways. Trim says, explain why Trim is the best Damas player and should be awarded the Liquid Fire skin. You should ask Af about that. I don't know. When you get me a trio. Now this question is actually really important. Akai asks, does damage reduction affect true damage? It used to. I tested this morning. So before, if you triggered Wotak, or Queen's Wings as it's called now, and you were hit by true damage from a tower or carry or anything, then they would be reduced by half, literally. Not anymore. So now true damage is actually true damage. It bypasses every item in the game completely 100%. So true damage will completely destroy you, regardless of your damage reduction now. And we tested this with the new and improved Blue Vengeance spell. There you go. That I remember the color, then it came to me. So yeah. And again, here's me replying. It used to, easiest way to test is grab Will Attack, sit under Tower Fire, and watch the damage. That's exactly what I did. And then guess what? It doesn't work anymore. So this is what I meant by things can change and I have to verify them again. So yeah. Then N-E-I or Nay or Nye, however you want me to pronounce your name, just let me know, dude. Will I do a video on how to draft pick? That's a complex one. So I alluded to this, I messaged about it. Here's the thing, I wish I could program, I wish I could code and make like an auto kind of AI based one, but I can't. And I'm not that adept at it. So the best I can say is that the way I usually draft pick when I'm not trolling is usually counter synergy draft pick is what I call it. So not only counter the enemies and their heroes, but also counter them in a way that your picks, your hero picks, synergize with each other at the same time. So there's more than just a counter there, there's a little bit of synergy that can go on. Alright, next question. Is Haya going to become more effective after his buff? How and why? Does it make a big or small difference? You want to know more about it. So, Hayabusa is... It's too early to tell. I would have to test it in a real game is the real question. Answer to that question. I would say that it would make a small difference, and if it made a really big difference, they would just nerf him again like they always do. Next up from is how strong is Balmond after this update? Balmond is freaking strong, like crazy strong. Gatot is freaking strong, like crazy strong, but not as a tank, as fighters. They're really strong as fighters, because the game wants us to play tanks as fighters, and that's why Johnson got his damage reduced unless you build magic damage on him. Same thing as Baxia, same thing as Hilda. Hilda got a big nerf though. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyways, the stack increase on Balmond is probably the most notable thing here. He's gonna be toxic. Hopefully there's enough spell vamp. See, here's the problem with Balmond. Everything about Balmond regenerating more and healing more and everything just kind of falls apart when you remember that Necklace of Endurance just completely counters everything again. So there you go. Yeah, and look, Saya's just reminding everyone, just like I remind everybody. You're gonna die, it's just the worst meta to be in. All the fighters that would be good with sustain now just get wrecked by this. So let's go on, continue. Why is Saya gay? Sharky is gayer, okay. And that ends the questions right here. So, if you want to keep on watching, that ends the Discord one. And I'll post the dash. That means we're done right here. And if you want to continue on, we're 18 minutes in. I'm all for it. I'm going to go through a little bit of these questions here. The ones that stand out the most. So you're just going to hear a bunch of probably music until I find something good. So here's the Reddit. Again, my official name here is Shiva right here. So let's go ahead and go on. I don't know if you can sort things. Can you sort things here? 94 comments. It's not a lot. So let's see here. Between fighters and assassins, what's the least picked role? Fighters by far. Let's see here. Because fighters require both being able to tank damage and do damage and focus targets at the same time. It's not just about CCing a target, it's about completing your job. So it's as hard as an assassin, it can be as hard as an assassin is, but while at the same time as difficult as a tank can be. So it's a little bit of both worlds right there. It's a very difficult role to play, especially when you're not good at handling your HP. So a lot of decision making going there, in my opinion. And that question was asked by Restless Sheep. I don't know about this one. Solid answer for this yet. Can someone explain to me? So this is something more of a game question. I'm not gonna answer those kinds of questions. Yeah, a lot of these, and again, a lot of these community answers are pretty good too. So thankfully our community is not as toxic as it was before. Maybe I'm just looking at the right area of the ML discussions in the Reddit. So let's continue on. Yes, Baxia is worthy. 100%. Strongest tank in the game right now. Let's continue on. Trying to master Kagura. Any tips or suggestions for guides to watch? Yeah, I would give you my guides, but they're outdated. So... nah. Yeah, no. However, if you join my Discord, I do have an updated build for her, and I can give you some tips on the Discord. Let's see here. Continue on. I think there's not a lot of actual questions besides people complaining about the game mechanics. So this is not true. Granger just seems strong because he's easy to use, meaning anyone can use him and snowball easily. So, this is a common misconception. There is a difference between a normal Granger and a Granger that literally just knows what he's doing 24/7. And the difference is mostly in how they rotate and farm. So, while his kit may intuitively be easy to use, it's more of a macro knowing when to use your skills and go in. Alright, so this right here is true to a certain point, but I've seen plenty of Grangers that auto-aim. And by the way, I did train my tongue to say Granger now, so yeah, so, but yes, if you follow through with the basics of any hero and you don't auto-aim and you treat him right, yeah, he's not that hard to learn. But it really depends on the person. Some people may find, you know, really easy heroes for others very difficult to learn for others, so that's just the thing. Let's see, going on, continue. There's this thing, actually, I want to point this out, Kubaib Arif. So, a lot of people that have Smurfs, their accounts are getting banned for whatever reason, or if you're using the Amazon version of Mobile Legends on the Amazon App Store, a lot of bans are going through. Unless you made a weird, unless you made at least $1 purchase. It's really weird. So if you never purchased anything and you installed Mobile Legends through the Amazon App Store, if you look at the Amazon App Store and you look at the reviews, a lot of people are just getting banned for no reason at all. Like, actually no reason. And that's fishy. I would go, take a look into that one, Moonton, because that's not good. How can Selena be played as a support? You don't play her as a support. Anyways, let's go on. How to play Carmilla, what type of emblem and build should be good for her. Right, so let me help you with this one out. For anyone that's questioning how to use Carmilla, what's a good emblem set and stuff, I will flash both the build and the emblem on the screen right now. As for how to play her, you usually, before you go into a team fight, you use your S1, and you try to cover as many enemies as you can, and you always aim her ultimate at the enemy you want to be slowed down the most. If you're in a team fight and there's a lot of enemies together, it doesn't really matter as long as you land it on someone, but you really want to do it before your big damage skills from your allies land so it can spread a lot more. That's the general purpose for her. It's not that difficult to play Carmilla. She is a really good hero. I personally love how they made that hero. Oh, we got a struggler here. TSE Reunion Project. Watch like 3 20+ minute guys. Is it just about practice and honing instinct? How is it used? Yes. Let me actually reply to this one. Sorry if I take a little bit long in the video. So I took my time to reply to that one. Basically, yes, Grok takes a long time to learn how to keep up with his wall passive. The general difficulty you are experiencing should go away with practice. No guide will really help you besides the basics. It's mostly a question of whether you can properly use your skill 1 properly to defend your allies. If you don't stick to the wall, you will be heavily punished because your stats will be significantly lowered. That, and on top, I didn't put this in there, but you really need some good allies to capitalize on when you go in and they follow up. And that's in general for any tank. So, there's some tips, and here's some tips. Hey, look, here's some Grok tips. So yes, and I think we're almost done towards the end of this one. You can take Sylvana. So let me go right here. Opposite definition. says he decided to main Sylvana. How far can you take her? She can be played in very high ELO. And the thing is, not solo queue though. Just FYI, she's really good with anyone who's a mage. Her passive is great. And in general, if you're going to play her, she has a really high learning curve once you hit a certain point. So, great hero to choose. I think you'll be very successful in using her. Alright, and Tresius Luna asks, this is going to be the last one, guys. The video's running pretty long. Penetration item mechanics. Hi guys, this Heptasea's pen passive. So basically, and there's basically just an in general question of how penetration items work. I will reply to this after the video ends, but essentially, I will be making a video on this as well. And what it's about is plus pen items. So if we think about it, there's items like the Blade of Heptaseas and the Hunter Strike, which give plus X amount of pen. And by the same logic, we have the Genius Wand, which gives plus X amount of pen. And then you have the percent ones like the Raptor Machete, the Malefic Roar, and the Divine Glaive. They all give percentage. The thing is, they should not be combined. So, and it took me a while, and it took a lot of Peach, please come back, to drill that into my skull. Essentially, the TLDR of it is if you have a hero that reduces magical or physical defense, then you should try to get items that give plus X amount of physical or magical penetration. If you have a hero that does not do this but has high skill damage, then you should probably try to get the Malefic Roar. You should not try to combine them both because then you're countering yourself to a certain point. Or becoming more ineffective is the proper term. So, I'll go over this a little bit more, but in general, so let's give you one example. Let's think about, say, for example, Sylvana. You would never buy Divine Glaive on Sylvana because she reduces magical defense. Instead, you would buy Genius Wand and maybe Arcane Boots. That would maximize your damage because you are reducing the enemy's magic defense by a lot and then increasing your own base pen. So that will do a lot more damage than if you literally purchase Divine Glaive and hit the same enemy. You can try it out yourself. I promise you it'll work. It's just the way the math works. So, yeah, that'll be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the Zero Zone. It's basically just me talking for a long amount of time. Trying to give you guys a little bit more of an update on things, answer some questions, and give you guys a preview of the next videos. In terms of what's coming up next, I think I'm going to handle the fighter one first, then I'll do the penetration one, and then I'll do Freya part 2. I know a lot of people are going to ask about, well, what changed with Freya with her new update, and now that you can't use your Flicker and S1 combo, does that change the guide at all? It does. It really does impact her, and there's a couple other things that impact my builds and stuff, so the premise of Freya being broken has not changed. If anything, she got a buff. It's just a different kind of buff, and you have to play her a little bit more different. So in terms of being a hero that's great, she's still great. You just have a different strength. If you had 2 bars, if she was if let's say she was 10 out of 10 on X bar and maybe a 7 on the other one, and this buff nerfed one of the bars, the one that was 10, it's just a flip-flop, really. It's just a different way of playing her, and it does not really impact her ability to do her job in the game. So I'll probably do that one last after everything is done. So don't expect that one because she might even be changed, and I don't like the fact that they're changing her every couple of weeks. So I'll wait a lot longer on publishing that one. Maybe I'll post it after part 3 of the Freya guide. So that's about it, guys. As you can tell, my voice is getting kind of raspy. So hope you guys enjoy your day, and I'll see you next time. Zero out.